pregnant. I don't even know how to say it. I'm pregnant. I'm pretty excited, a little shocked, but yeah, I'm pregnant. I'm 7.5 weeks already, but yeah, I'm pregnant. For those of you who don't know me, which is pretty much everyone because I'm new around here, hi, I'm Connelly, and yes, I have a baby. She just turned 1 year old, and I'm pregnant again. And this baby is due in the middle of October, and so my current baby Evangelina and this new one will be 20 months apart. So that's a little nerve-wracking. That's a little closer than I anticipated, but there you have it. And yeah, today I'm going to be talking about my 2-week wait symptoms, or basically my symptoms between weeks 2 and 4 of pregnancy, and I'll explain why it's so weird like that too, in case you're new to videos like these. And I know with my first pregnancy, I kind of binge watched these types of videos when I thought I might be pregnant. So I wanted to make my own and just kind of document it so I could remember it for a potential future pregnancy too. So with that, we can talk about things. So basically, you ovulate one day, and then 2 weeks later, you can typically get a positive pregnancy test if you're pregnant. So when people talk about the 2-week wait, there is the first day of your cycle, which is the first day of your period, the day you ovulate, which is, if you go by textbook, that's usually 14 days. I'm not even gonna say usually because I don't think that's standard or average. I just think that's, they like threw a dart at a board and hit a number. But anyway, so about 14 days after your period starts, and then 14 days after you ovulate is when your next cycle starts, so when your next period starts. So in the whole cycle, you typically ovulate right in the middle. That's not the case for me. That's not the case for a lot of people. And the way you find that out is by charting. So I highly recommend using an app, or if you're trying to get pregnant or trying not to get pregnant, you can also use ovulation predictor kits, and those are sold all over the place. Amazon is a really good spot to get it. I'll link to that below. But yeah, you use those like a pregnancy test. You go to the bathroom on them, and then it basically, if your test line is darker than your control line, then you're ovulating. Now that you know that when you are pregnant, so let's say your cycle, day 1, you have your period, you ovulate day 14, and then day 28, you find out you're pregnant. Even though you ovulated in the middle and you've only been pregnant for 2 weeks, it counts the whole cycle as when your pregnancy started. I think doctors do that because women know when they have their period versus they don't know when they ovulate typically, unless you're really tracking and monitoring and paying close attention, and even then you might not know. So it's just easier to go by the cycle. So even though I'm 2 weeks pregnant, it will say, you're 4 weeks pregnant, congratulations, that sort of thing. I am so out of breath already. This is like ridiculous. This pregnancy is gonna be crazy. I can hardly talk, as you can hear. But yeah, so now that you know that, let's jump right into when I talk about day 1, I'm talking about 1 day after ovulation. So these are my symptoms for that 2-week wait, and I'll get right into it. By the way, if you ever have a doctor tell you you don't feel symptoms until after you test positive, that's not what I've experienced at all. I'm very in tune with my body, and even with my first pregnancy on day 1, DPO, that's days past ovulation, 1 DPO, I was already feeling symptoms, and the same thing happened again this time, and I knew I was pregnant this time again. So I was very, very confident because I started feeling symptoms from day 1, and I'll tell you what those are. So this pregnancy, day 1, I had really light cramping, not like one pinch, but just like light cramping kind of all over in my lower abdomen, or just like my uterus area. And I felt tingles in my chest, and I felt that the first time. And the first time it was so pronounced, my first pregnancy, probably because I'd never breastfed. So I feel like now that I've been nursing for so long, I know that that's what it feels like when the milk comes in. So I think it was like coming in or making the pathways or something the first time around, but I'm still nursing. So This time it wasn't, it was a little bit here and there that I kind of noticed and kind of picked up on. I wrote it down just as in case it was a symptom, and I think it was now because, yeah, I don't feel it normally anymore. Like I felt that feeling a lot at the beginning when I was first starting to nurse, but after a couple months, I didn't feel that feeling anymore, except for one DPO. So that was kind of not a typical occurrence for me to experience. Day 2, ever since I had Ava, my first baby, sometimes I get these phantom kicks in my tummy, like there's still a baby in there kicking a little bit, and obviously there hasn't been a baby in there for a year now, or almost a year, like 11 months. There is now again, but I meant before that, but I'd still feel these phantom kicks, like there was something in there. It's probably just air or food or something passing through, but I could like really feel it, and I felt that a lot. Oh yeah, and then day 2, so when you're pregnant, a lot of times your senses increase, especially your sense of smell and taste, and I think that's a mechanism to help you know danger or prevent you from eating something bad that might not affect you as an adult but might affect the unborn baby. So your sense of smell gets so heightened, and that's a lot of times why people get nauseous, not all the time, but a lot of the time. And so I was doing laundry and I smelled this unscented laundry detergent we've been using for years that I'd never smelled before, and I could smell it so strongly. I was like, that's a symptom, I'm gonna write it down. So I wrote it down and here it is. Day 3 or 3 DPO, I had mild, dull, achy cramps, enough to write it down, and my hip popped. And the reason I put that in there is because I had, during my first pregnancy, towards the end of it, some sciatica pain going on the right side, and it really also felt like pelvic pain. It was in my hip. It was just really uncomfortable, and it popped. And ever since then, it's been a little off. Like it's been painful, and I feel this like almost like sciatica pain, which I thought because it was at the end of my pregnancy that I started feeling it. It was because the baby was so big, or where she was positioned, she was sitting on something or a nerve. But apparently that's hormonal because I'm already feeling it, and the baby's this big right now. She's like the size of it's like a size of the blueberry. I don't know the gender. So don't know what that's about besides hormones, but yeah, I'm already feeling that, and I'm still feeling that to this day. Yeah, that was it for day 3. Day 4, my hip and pelvis situation was just out of whack. I could feel it, and there was nothing I could do to stretch or do lunges to get it back in place really, and my glute is all tight and messed up too, so just one of those things. 5 DPO, I had cramps, and that's the only thing I wrote down here. 6 DPO, I woke up from very vivid dreams, and this is such a typical occurrence in pregnancy and a symptom of pregnancy, and that is one way I knew I was pregnant last time too. I just had these crazy vivid dreams, and I don't know if that's the hormones or if it's because I'm waking up more. I get pretty bad insomnia, pregnancy insomnia, so I don't know, but I wrote it down that I woke up from crazy vivid dreams. The next one is that I sneezed, and I had a really painful, sharp pain and tightening in my lower abdomen or uterus area. So that was kind of strange to me. It felt like something was going on there when I did that. I also had some hot flashes, a couple occurrences of those, back aches, and cramping. 7 DPO, okay, this sounds really weird, but I swear this is a symptom of pregnancy because it happened to me in my last pregnancy, and I Googled it, and basically if you Google anything, it's a symptom of pregnancy. So I'm not sure what that's about, but comment below if you've experienced this too in pregnancy. But basically in my last pregnancy, I felt my teeth, and I don't know how to explain it other than like it felt like tissue versus like teeth. Like I could just feel them more and stronger, and they were so sensitive, and I don't know what that's about. But I'll tell you, on 7 DPO, when I breathed in hard through my nose, I could like feel my front teeth. I don't now, but on that day I was like, oh man, that like I'm for sure pregnant. I just knew it from that day. That's one of those things that happened to me. I also had a bout of lightheadedness. I got emotional during a Super Bowl commercial, which I noted because that's just not typical for me. I had a couple hot flashes again, so not typical for me. So that was really interesting. And again, I was like, yeah, this is just not normal, I'm pregnant. And then I noted cramps. 8 DPO, I smelled something in our house that sometimes when we have the windows open, or I don't know when, but once in a while we get this smoky smell in our house. Like someone had smoked a cigarette once in here before. I don't know, especially when we first moved in, we could kind of get that feeling, even though we didn't notice it when we were buying the house. But typically we don't. We've painted a lot, like we don't, so we probably covered over the walls where it was, things like that. But I went into the basement, which is where the smell I think comes from. And I could smell it so strongly. Like it was like someone had just been smoking there a week ago. Like it was very strong compared to normal. So again, the scent thing, the scent was my sense of smell. Very heightened, I feel like. And so that was 8 DPO, and I knew this would be negative probably, but I took a pregnancy test because I was so confident that I was pregnant, and it came back negative. So I marked that too. Okay, 9 DPO, I again had that lower right back pain, the pelvic situation, the sciatica pain. It was just really strong that day. I had a backache and then some dizziness. Again, the lightheadedness, which is not something I really experienced at all in my first pregnancy. So that was bizarre, but something that I documented here. I took another pregnancy test on 9 days past ovulation and it was negative. At 10 DPO, I took a pregnancy test again. It was negative, even though my first pregnancy with Ava, it came back positive on 10 DPO. So I was so hoping that I would get the positive that day. But I tested late in the day, and typically you want to test early in the morning when it's that early on, because your hormone will be more concentrated, the HCG, the thing that the pregnancy test is testing for. But it was just, I was working from home and I thought, oh, I'll test now. Later in the day, came back negative. I did note that I had a really dry mouth, and that's something that happened to me the first time around. I got like cotton mouth. I get so thirsty. I could never get hydrated, I felt like. So that makes a lot of sense, because one, if you're pregnant, you're pumping more blood through and you just need more water. But 2 is also nursing, so on top of that, it was just, I needed so much extra water. Still do. 11 DPO, I marked dry cotton mouth again, just so thirsty, and that was the first day I got the positive pregnancy test, and it was so positive, it was just crazy. So I knew something was in there. Something was in there. Basically, from that point on, I felt like the symptoms just increased. I started getting really, really sick week 5, which is not something I experienced in my previous pregnancy, but I'll talk about that in another video. And I'm already showing, like, this is so crazy because I didn't show in my first pregnancy until I was like 20 weeks, something like that. And I started showing at like 5 this time, and it wasn't just bloating. It was like my muscles just knew what to do. They were like, no, we're not gonna like push the baby in. We're just gonna like push the muscles out and everything out, and it's just gonna grow outward. So I have a feeling I'm gonna be very, very large this pregnancy. Only time will tell. But yeah, I'm definitely showing already, and I'll show you that now. So this is my bump right now. Even though this is my week 1 through 4 video, I'm actually 7.5 weeks pregnant. I should mention that. And by the time you see this video, I'll be even further along. I probably will be in my early 2nd trimester, because I'm not going to post this until we've announced it to our friends and family and things like that. So I just wanted to let you know that. But yeah, those are my 10-week wait. But yeah, that was my 2-week wait, my weeks 1 through 4 pregnancy symptom video. And I hope you'll like and subscribe and join me on this journey that I'm going to be documenting here, and we can become a part of the YouTube family. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!